and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and we have our newest team member at the Kimberly Library with us today. So, Lauryn, this is Lauryn. Welcome to Friday Reads.
Thank you.
This week, we are again back to our decades, and we are up to the 1980s. I was thinking about that last night. Like I said, last week I was in high school in the 70s. I was in college in the 80s, and I remember our big thing was watching our favorite bands on MTV, watching the music video awards.
Yes.
But it was a decade of disasters. I mean, I remember Chernobyl, and I remember the Challenger discovery, the Challenger explosion. So it was a decade of a lot of things going on. And I believe it's a decade when Princess Diana and Prince Charles got married at the beginning of the 80s. So that was a big thing, too. So,
Royals.
Jill, your first pick for books that happened in the 1980s.
This is totally my era. My first choice is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is the first in a series. He has Ready Player Two as well, if you like it. In the year 2044, reality is an ugly place. The only time teenage Wade Watts really feels alive is when he's jacked in the virtual utopia known as the Oasis. Wade's devoted his life to studying the puzzles hidden within this world's digital confines. Puzzles that are based on their creators' obsession with the pop culture of the decades past and that promise massive power and fortune to whoever can unlock them. But when Wade stumbles upon the first clue, he finds himself beset by players willing to take the ultimate prize. The race is on, and if Wade's going to survive, he'll have to win and confront the real world he's always been so desperate to escape. So this is video games and 80s culture.
I remember Pac-Man in the 80s.
All right. My first pick is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. When the Creeds move into a beautiful old house in rural Maine, it all seems too good to be true. Physician father, beautiful wife, charming little daughter, adorable infant son, and now an idyllic home. As a family, they've got it all, right down to the friendly car. But the nearby woods hide a blood-chilling truth more terrifying than death itself, and hideously more powerful. The Creeds are going to learn that sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes dead is better.
Oh.
Stephen King makes me think of the 80s,
Yeah.
too.
My first pick is a National Book Award winner, and this is Trust Exercise by Susan Choi. This was published back in 2019. It takes place in an American suburb in the early 80s. Students at a highly competitive performing arts high school struggle and thrive in a rarefied bubble, ambitiously pursuing music, movement, Shakespeare, and particularly their acting classes. When within this striving brotherhood of the arts, two freshmen, David and Sarah, fall headlong in love, their passion does not go unnoticed or untoyed with by anyone, especially not by their charismatic acting teacher, Mr. Kingsley. The outside world of family life and economic status, of academic pressure, and of their future adult lives fails to penetrate those school walls until one day it does, in a shocking spiral of events that catapults the action forward in time and flips the premise upside down. What the reader believes to have happened to David and Sarah and their friends is not entirely true, though it's not false either. So, have to read this book to check out what really happens in Trust Exercise.
Ooh. My next one is another video game 80s thing. This one is called The Impossible Fortress by Jason Rekulak. This was published in 2017. The Impossible Fortress begins with a magazine. The year is 1987, and a Playboy has just been published scandalous photographs of Vanna White from the popular TV game show Wheel of Fortune. No. For three teenage boys, Billy, Elf, and Clark, who are desperately uneducated in the ways of women, the magazine is somewhat of a holy grail, priceless beyond measure, and impossible to attain, so they hatch a plan to steal it. The heist will be fraught with peril, a locked building, intrepid police officers, rusty fire escapes, leaps across rooftops, electronic alarm systems, and a hyperactive Shih Tzu named Arnold Schwarzenegger. Failed attempt after failed attempt leads them to a genius master plan. They'll swipe the security code to Zelinski's convenience store by seducing the owner's daughter, Mary Zelinsky. It becomes Billy's mission to befriend her and get the information by any means necessary. But Mary isn't your average teenage girl. She's a computer-loving, expert coder already strides ahead of Billy in ability, with a wry sense of humor and a hidden big heart. But what starts as a game to win Mary's affection leaves Billy with a gut-wrenching choice. Deceive the girl who may well be his first love, or break a promise to his best friend. So,
Okay, my second pick is Una Out of Order by Margarita Montmore. a remarkably inventive novel that explores what it means to live a life fully in the moment, even if those moments are out of order. It's New Year's Eve in 1982, and Una Lockhart has her whole life before her. At the stroke of midnight, she will turn 19, and the year ahead promises to be one of consequence. Should she go to London to study economics, or remain at home in Brooklyn to pursue her passion for music and be with her boyfriend? As the countdown to the new year begins, Una faints and awakens 32 years in the future in her 51-year-old body. Greeted by a friendly stranger in a beautiful house she's told is her own, Una learns that with each passing year she will leap to another age at random. And so begins Una Out of Order. Hopping through decades, pop culture fads, and much-needed stock tips, Una is still a young woman on the inside, but ever-changing on the outside. Who will she be next year? Philanthropist? Club kid? World traveler? Wife to the man she's never met? Surprising, magical, and heart-wrenching, this author has crafted an unforgettable story about the burdens of time, the endurance of love, and the power of family.
Put that one on my to-be-read list. That one sounded like an interesting pick when I pulled that one. My next pick is Tayari Jones's Silver Sparrow. With the opening line of this book, my father, James Witherspoon, is a bigamist. Tayari Jones unveils a breathtaking story about a man's deception, a family's complicity, and the teenage girls that are caught in the middle. Set in a middle-class neighborhood in Atlanta in the 1980s, this book revolves around James Witherspoon's families, the public one and the secret one. When the daughters from each family meet and form a friendship, only one of them knows they are sisters. It is a relationship destined to explode when secrets are revealed and illusions are shattered. As Jones explores the backstories of her rich and flawed characters, she also reveals the joy and the destruction they brought to each other's lives. At the heart of this story are the two girls whose lives are at stake. And like the best writers, Tayari Jones portrays the fragility of her characters with raw authenticity as they seek love, demand attention, and try to imagine themselves as women. So, check out Silver Sparrow.
My next choice is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was published in 2021. She's the author of Daisy Jones and the Six, which we had last week for the 70s.
You like that author.
I do. This is Malibu Rising. Let's see. Four famous siblings throw an epic party to celebrate the end of summer, but over the course of 24 hours, their lives will change forever. Malibu, August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end-of-summer party, and anticipation is at a fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel. Brothers Jay and Hud, one of championship surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their adored baby sister Kit. Together, the siblings are a source of fascination in Malibu and the world over, especially as the offspring of a legendary singer, Mick Riva. The only person not looking forward to the party of the year is Nina herself, who never wanted to be the center of attention, who has just been very publicly abandoned by her pro tennis player husband. Oh, and maybe Hud, maybe it's long past time to confess something to the brother from whom he's been inseparable since birth. Jay, on the other hand, is counting the minutes until nightfall when the girl he can't stop thinking about promised she'd be there. And Kit has a couple secrets of her own, including a guest she invited without consulting anyone. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. But before that first spark, and nearly hours before dawn, the alcohol will flow, the music will play, and the loves and secrets that shaped this family's generations will all come bubbling to the surface. So, Malibu Rising, a 1980s party.
All right. My final pick is my personal favorite, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since 5th grade when they bonded over a shared love of E.T., roller skating parties, and scratch and sniff stickers. But when they arrive at high school, things change. Gretchen begins to act different. And as the strange coincidences and bizarre behavior start to pile up, Abby realizes there's only one possible explanation. Gretchen, her favorite person in the world, has a demon living inside her. And Abby is not about to let anyone or anything come between her and her best friend. With help from some unlikely allies, Abby embarks on a quest to save Gretchen. But is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil? This book has been described as Beaches meets The Exorcist, and I highly recommend.
I know that's one of your favorite authors. My last pick, I went nonfiction, because I remember a lot of these movies. This is Brat Pack America, a love letter to 80s teen movies by Kevin Smokler. From the fictional towns of Hill Valley, California and Shermer, Illinois, to the beautiful landscapes of the Goondocks in Astoria and the time of your life Dirty Dancing resort still alive and well in North Carolina, 80s teen movies left their mark not just on movie screens but in the hearts of fans and also on the landscape of America itself. Like few other eras in movie history, the 1980s teen movies have endured and gotten better with time. In Brat Pack America, the author gives virtual tours of your favorite movies while also picking apart why these locations are so important to the movies. It includes interviews with actors, writers, and directors from that era, and it's chock full of interesting facts about your favorite 80s movies. Brat Pack America is a must for any fan of that decade's movies. The author went to Goonies Day in Astoria, Oregon, took a Lost Boys tour of Santa Cruz, California, and deeply explored every nook and cranny of the movies we all know and love, and it shows in this book. So if you're a fan of the 80s movies, check out Brat Pack America, a love letter to 80s teen movies.
That sounds fun. Who doesn't like 80s movies? So my last pick is Stranger Things: The Other Side. This is in the graphic novels. This is number 1 by Jody Hauser, Stephen Martino as illustrator, Keith Champagne as illustrator. The hit Netflix series from the Duffer Brothers is now a spine-tingling comic that recounts Will Byers' harrowing survival in the treacherous Upside Down. When Will Byers finds himself in the Upside Down, an impossible dark parody of his own world, he's understandably frightened. But that's nothing compared with the fear that takes hold when he realizes what's in the world with him. Follow Will's struggle through the season 1 events of the hit Netflix show Stranger Things. And, and if you want to watch actual Stranger Things, we have that here as well. So, a lot of 80s references in that one, too.
I love that series. Finally got caught up to the present day with that one. Well, thank you for watching. You can find us on our Facebook page, and Jill puts a link on our Kimberly Public Library website, which links you to YouTube. We've been getting more YouTube watchers. So thanks to Lauryn for joining us today.
Thanks for
Like I said, nice to introduce her to the public. So until next time, we thank you for watching. Bye.